up, Drummer Mafia? Welcome to the final Monday with Marco. As I suit up here, there's one thing that's been on my mind. It's the season finale, so one thing's gotta go, and it's not me. To pay tribute to Monday with Marco, I gotta get rid of a dear friend.
Go all over.
Who cut it? Just now? Did you just cut it now?
I did it for you, honestly.
I like long hair.
Yeah, just like that. The end of an era, the end of a legacy, the end of Mondays with Marco. Now, I know what you're wondering, and there's a few answers for it. You're probably wondering, why did I cut off the man bun? I cut off the man bun because this is the last Monday with Marco. I feel like the man bun was a sense of giving knowledge and all that. So this is the last of the knowledge that I'm giving to you guys on YouTube, at least for a while. So I need to carry on and continue on to a different era of my life. Now, the main question: why did I cut off my man bun in a checkout line at a grocery store? This ties into the actual reason why we're here today and the final episode of Monday with Marco. Habits of effective practice, whatnot, effectively practicing, What did I do? Why did I snip off my man bun in a checkout line? In public, why would I do that? Who would do that? What I did was I left my comfort zone. Leaving your comfort zone is a major key of effectively practicing. If you're always in your comfort zone and you're always practicing the same things, that you always go through the motions and whatnot, blah blah blah, how are you gonna get better if you keep doing the same things? Now, through me leaving my comfort zone, I'm able to reach higher in different levels and experience different things that other people don't experience. That's just a metaphor. Me cutting off my man bun in a checkout line is a metaphor for you, rather than consistently playing crossover or whatever you want to call this, crossover, whatever. You play open now. I'm leaving my comfort zone, so now I'm going to practice for 2 hours open. Leave your comfort zone. You will not get better if you stay in your comfort zone, and that's a fact. I also kind of want it to be iconic, so I cut my hair off in a checkout line. Not many people have done that. Now, let's continue with today's lesson on how to effectively practice. Now, before we even dive into the lesson today, you need to know one thing. Why are you practicing? What's your end goal? What do you want to accomplish through practicing? Do you want to play arenas with a pop artist? Do you want to play small jazz clubs? Do you want to cultivate your own band and create your own fan base? Do you want to just be happy? Do you want to learn new things? Do you want to try different things? What do you want to do? Why do you want to practice? You want to get better? You want to be the best drummer in the world? There's so many things you can do. Me, I want to become the best drummer that I can be, and I want to eventually one day land one or more steady gigs playing for a major label artist. So what I'm doing is I'm going to practice to tracks of these artists or in the same genre. What you do is you sculpt your training sessions and whatnot. You sculpt it in order for you to become what you want to become. If I want to play arenas, I'm going to learn how to play the parts. I'm going to practice doing things like that. If I want to play jazz clubs and everything, I'm going to learn how to swing. I'm going to study the best swingers. I'm going to learn how to play bop drumming, bop jazz, all of that. If I want to become the best drummer that I can be, I'm going to study every style of drums. And I'm going to try my best to master each of those styles and become fluent in all of those styles. What do you want to do? Why do you want to practice the drums? Figure that out, and then you construct a training schedule, in which case it's a roadmap leading to that end goal. Rule number 1, use your cell phone. Use your cell phone when you practice. I wanted to start off with a controversial rule. Now, everybody that I've heard or I've who's spoken to me about effectively practicing, one of the main things that they say is turn your cell phone on airplane mode, put it to the side. Well, what are you gonna do then? You're gonna play to a metronome from the 90s and throw in some earbuds and practice paradiddles? No. Use your cell phone. We're in 2018 right now. When you watch this, it's gonna be later. But still, you're gonna even more so want to use your phone. You know what's on your phone? Metronome, play-alongs, how-to videos. You got my videos. You can go on YouTube and pull up one of my videos and go to your set and learn something new. You can't do that if your phone's in airplane mode. Why would you shut your... I don't get that. Please, guys, use your phones. Use your phones. You got Mondays with Marco, you got the drum coaches, you got Mike Johnson, the 80-20 drummer. There's so many teachers. Juan Carlito Mendoza, you got so many teachers online. Just an infinite, you can study. You can literally study a drummer who you want to cultivate your sound around. You can literally do anything. I don't get why people say put your phone in airplane mode. Please don't do that. Use your cell phones when you practice. Rule number 2. Create a very strict training schedule. Now remember what I said before about constructing a training schedule that's going to lead you to your end goal? This is this. So Monday, let's say you want to train from 2 to 6. You make sure you train from 2 to 6. You don't show up to training at 4 p.m. and now you miss 2 hours because you're literally only hurting yourself. And that's hilarious because is this like a high school math class that you want to miss? No. You're helping yourself. Be very strict about yourself becoming better, okay? Now, not too strict to where it's not fun, but if you're missing out majority of your practice and then you fool around for the rest of it, you're not even practicing. So what are you doing? That's rule number 2, which leads me exactly into rule number 3. Take initiative. So let's say I'm scheduled to train from 2 to 6 on a Monday, and I'm working on several different things throughout that. But at 9 p.m. I'm feeling this urge to drum and I got a pad set downstairs. But you're like, it's not scheduled in that I'm practicing. You don't have to stay strict to the schedule in that sense to where if you're not practicing, you can't practice. Practice as much as you can. If you get this urge of inspiration, go down to the pad set and work out some ideas. Do whatever you want. But when you get that urge of inspiration, make sure you practice. Practice on the schedule, practice off of the schedule. But make sure that you're not missing out on practices because that's when you're going to start to move back. You're constantly moving either forward or backwards, and if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. True facts with your boy, the Italian drummer. Rule number 4, major key. Do not ignore your weaknesses. You're practicing, don't ignore your weaknesses. I feel like I'm ranting in this whole video, but whatever. Don't ignore your weaknesses. If you sit down to practice, and you just play along to some music for 2 hours, and then you shed to a metronome for like an hour, you debatably just had 1 hour of practice. Those 2 hours are gone to shit because you're just playing shit you already know. Now what they say is 80% of your practice should be stuff that you don't know, your weaknesses. 20% should be stuff that you already know so that you keep that fresh in your mind. What I say is, that's true, okay? But make sure you have at least 1 to 2 days a week where you're working on yourself and your own phrases and everything like that, because you need to know how you move around the drum set. If you're only working on your weaknesses for 80% of your practice, you're gonna start to lose touch of who you are as a drummer, and I've experienced this. Make sure you give yourself 1 to 2 days at least of just not learning anything new at all intentionally, and just trying to understand how you flow around the kit and how you move, how you approach things. Because if you're only working on your weaknesses, you're gonna, once it becomes your strength, you're gonna start to put it off to the side, and then you're gonna work on your weakness again. You're gonna lose touch of who you are as a drummer. So be very careful about that. But do not ignore your weaknesses. Tackle it on, head on like a bull raging in a china shop. Rule number 5. Start things off slow and gradually speed it up. Now, I say this because a lot of people will try to start things fast and then try to work it out. You're thinking too analytically in that sense. You want to start it slow. You can think analytically, you can think logically, but it's slow. So you're getting the motion down, the muscle memory. Then you speed up the muscle memory rather than sticking or something like that. You speed up a muscle memory, which is much easier to do, and now you can play it slow and fast rather than just approaching it fast, struggling for a long time, getting it fast, not being able to slow it down. So make sure that you approach things very slowly and then gradually speed it up. Which brings me to rule number 6, which is repetition of a movement or motion an ungodly amount of times. So you want to sit there for a minute. Alright, my guys, you want to sit there for a minute working on the same thing, repeating it, paying attention to just the slightest details. Be very meticulous on like how your motions are going. I do this when I work on my right foot. I'll be going with my right foot, and I'll just be paying attention to where I am on the pedal, how my leg is, what angle it's at, if I'm swiveling, if I'm going back and forth like that, if I'm just bouncing it, if I'm rocking it, you know, be very meticulous. So 5, 6. Now, rule number 7, take several short breaks. I'm talking 3 to 5 minutes, not 10 minutes, not 1 minute. 1 minute is too short, 10 minutes too long, you're gonna start to lose concentration. 3 to 5 minutes is perfect. You can take that time to drink some water, have a snack maybe, connect with some friends, I don't know. But take your mind off of it. This is for mental sanity, this is for relaxation, this is to make sure that you're not pushing yourself through a practice to where you're hating it, you're struggling, and I can't do this and I can't do that. Take breaks, take several of them, okay? Not just one 5-minute break in a 6-hour stretch, take several 5-minute breaks. Especially when you start to get overworked in your mind, you want to make sure you take a break, because otherwise you're not going to like practicing, which means you're not going to learn the new thing as efficiently and as quickly as you can be learning it, resulting in an ineffective practice. We don't want that. Make sure you take some breaks. Rule number 8, record yourself. Like I said, it's 2018, we all have phones. We have voice memos and we have cameras, okay? You can physically record yourself on a video, or you can audibly record yourself on just a sound file. And you need to be very honest with yourself and very, very, very nitpicky when you're listening to yourself, because it's just you and yourself, okay? Nobody else. You don't get mad at anybody else. It's you judging yourself. You need to make sure that your playing is as on par as it can be. If you're not honest with yourself and you're like, oh, that sounds alright, and you move on, that's one thing that you could have fixed that you're not fixing. Be very honest with yourself when you're looking back and listening back at recordings. Make sure your posture is good. Make sure, very like intricate, like things that only you would be judgmental about on yourself. Not in a bad way, but in a, I want to improve this type of way. Rule number 9, be constantly thinking of your craft. I am always air drumming, drum scatting, listening to music, different genres. Make sure you're exposing yourself to things that you don't know. Always be thinking about your craft though. Like, there was a point in my life where I was making sure that I was always doing this with my left foot while a song would be playing. Let's say, and I'll keep that going for the whole song, and I'll make sure I didn't do that with my right foot, only my left foot, because I wanted to get this this left foot independence down. I wanted to get that down to a point where I'm not even thinking about it. So I did this to songs. It's stuff like that. Like I'll be air drumming all the time. I'll be drum scatting. Be you crossovers, all that. It's practicing the motions and making sure your brain, the wires stay connected so that your muscles can move naturally in that way. Sweeping and whatnot. Playing just a groove. You know, always be thinking about your craft. You're gonna look crazy doing this. Just you're working on the forearms. Be working on the calves just when you're sitting down by doing just your feet flat-footed, going like this. If you're sitting down anywhere, work on your feet. You're gonna always be training and constantly be getting better. I don't want to hear no excuses. And the final rule number 10, expect plateaus. Plateaus are very common on the road and path to mastery. You're gonna get frustrated, you're going to get angry, but as long as you know that these are gonna happen, you'll be much better off. I read this book called Chop Wood, Carry Water, and it's about this man who was very impatient with his training, and he wanted to always get much better at his craft faster than anybody else, and he wasn't willing to go through the motions. Like I said about going slow first and gradually speeding it up rather than starting fast. This was a cat who wanted to start fast rather than start slow and work on all the fundamentals. And one page in this book actually shows, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but it shows the path to mastery. Right there, yes. So you'll see how it is. It goes up a little bit, just a little bit, and then it plateaus for a while. Goes up just a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, things are moving up. So this is the path to mastery, and you'll see it has a lot more plateaus with gradual rising than spikes. The spikes are when you're working on that 80% new stuff, and then those 1 or 2 days when you get it down, you master it, you might experience those spikes, but then it's going to plateau again. You cannot constantly be moving up. You will be plateauing a lot. And the key is to stay calm and not get mad when things like this are happening. Don't get frustrated. Don't let your mind get to you. Relax. Understand that you're going to reach plateaus, but you're going to overcome them and break through the barriers. These are habits of people who effectively practice. Hopefully you'll become one person who effectively practices, and if you do, or when you do, you will see changes that are greater than you've ever seen before. Now, it's been very real, guys. I've enjoyed these free lessons. I hope you guys have too. I'm gonna cry. This is the final Monday with Marco. I went out with a bang. The man bun is gone. I wish you guys the best of luck in your endeavors. If you have any other questions regarding drums, DM me on Instagram. Send me a comment here. I do give private lessons as well. Hit me up with any questions. I will be more than honored to help you guys, and I hope I provided you guys with enough resources to take your career a step to the next level, and to the next level, and to the next level. Let's get greater together, and let's fucking succeed. Thank you guys for tuning into the last Monday with Marco. I'll see you guys at the fucking Grammys. Signing off.